Welcome to the Limelight Healing Podcast,
where laughter meets inner peace.
I'm your host, Shaka.
And I'm Kiana.
And welcome back to our channel. We're very grateful for all the person that tuned into our first episode.
Thank you.
Take the man back, but not a child. We really appreciate everyone that shared, that subscribed, that liked, that commented. We got a lot of feedback from you guys, and we really appreciate it. We got a lot of people giving us feedback in our DMs, which is great. We love that. But we want you guys to comment as well, so we have an open dialogue, so everyone can see. So we really appreciate all the support, and we're really, really grateful. Now, this episode, we're gonna focus on the topic of love in spirit of, it being February, Valentine's, so we have Valentine's Day coming up next week. So this one, we really want to focus on love, right? So that's going to be the theme for the month. This episode, we want to focus on how we can maximize our romantic relationships and what we can do to work on that, to improve it. Especially in our Caribbean society, we see an increase in divorces and separations, breakups, and what we want to do, we want our community to grow in every aspect, and that includes in our partnerships, right? In the people that we love, regardless if it's family, friends, partners, yourself. So that's why we want to focus on the topic of love in the month of February. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about in this episode is our romantic partners and how we can use our love and our love languages. That's definitely what I want to focus on. How we can use that to build our relationships, right? So we're going to talk about that this episode, and I'm so excited because I love languages. So what is love language?
Yeah, so let's dive right in. As Shaka said, that we're going to be talking about love languages. And first, we want to talk about where the concept came from. So the concept of love languages was created by Dr. Gary Chapman. He wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages. If you're familiar, it's about how to express heartfelt commitment to your mate. So in this episode, we will talk about love languages in terms of a romantic partnership. And I hope, you stay tuned because it's some really good information that we hope will transform your romantic life. And obviously, love languages also covers, the relationship you have with like your family and your loved ones, or even with yourself. And we will talk about that in other episodes. Where this episode, we're talking about love languages in terms of your partner. And so basically, love language is the way we give and receive love.
Yes.
And knowing your love language and that of your partner is so important.
Yes.
So important because it promotes better understanding, effective communication, and a stronger emotional connection. Who doesn't want a stronger emotional connection?
Yeah.
Who don't want to be understood and be loved in the way that they desire to be loved? And ultimately, this leads to a more fulfilling and successful relationship. And we are pro love.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we believe that, we are not an island. We need each other.
Yes.
We need romantic relationships. We need, platonic relationships. But like we said, we're talking about a romantic relationship in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's dive into that. So if you know your love language, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comment and tell us what your love language is. We would love to know. And if you don't know, don't worry. We have something very interesting for you to learn about your love language towards the end of the episode. And you will be able to determine what your love language is. And that in itself is, impactful because knowing is so important.
Yeah.
And we want to tell you how you determine your love language. And you might think, love language, what is that?
Yeah.
Is that a foreign concept? And it may sound like a foreign concept to you,
yeah,
but
that's true.
There's actual scientific research that goes into this. And the reason, what determines our love language essentially is that, through our social interactions.
Yes.
And the way that we were raised.
Yeah, the way we were raised.
So those are pivotal things that affect, or not affect, but rather shape who we are and our love language. Yeah. So like, tell me, first of all, what is your love language? Tell the people.
So my love language varies, because once again, it's shaped on how you were, sometimes how you were brought up, if you got that specific type of love. And I know, once again, we might be speaking like gibberish. I mean, if you know what love language is, kudos to you guys. I basically found out it about a few years ago, and I'm a true believer of it. From the moment I found out about it, did some research, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I implemented it in my own life, my own marriage, my relationships with my family, my friends, even myself. So we are true believers of it. I've seen it work miracles. Mm-hmm. And anybody that has, just newly been married or even in a relationship, I would always share this with them. I know you mm-hmm. have bought books for your like newly married people, like gifts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
It's a great gift.
Yeah, it's a really great gift. So we want to share that with the world. Now, as it says, love language is basically the language of love that you speak. That's basically mm-hmm. what it is. And we have 5 different types of language that you may speak. Mm-hmm. Right? So my love language is
or just give them your top love language, because you can have multiple. So tell the people what's like your top love language.
So my top love language would be the receiving gifts, but I have it mixed with acts of service, right? So basically what that is that a thoughtful gift. For me, it doesn't have to be something super expensive, whatever, but mm-hmm. you're like, you know what, Shaka, I saw this and I bought it. I saw the view and I bought it for you. That is my mm-hmm. favorite thing in the entire world.
So since love language was like developed as a child, do you recall like a childhood memory or any kind of thing that will, that led you to being someone who enjoys gift as your love language?
Well, yeah, I'm a big birthday person. I know to get some people are like, birthday month. That's me. I'm that girl, right? So my birthday's a big deal. I have parties. I don't know. You guys, Caribbean people, we throw parties in school. I used to have my little party in my little gift bags and stuff like that. I used to do it up. So it was a big deal for me. And having the gift then and being celebrated at that point in time is pretty big. Or just even though, like, my mom going out and seeing something for me and she's like, you know what, this is for you, this looks nice for you, whatever. So it mm-hmm. made me feel appreciated. It made me feel loved. So that's one of the reasons why I love receiving gifts. And mm-hmm. acts of service is one of the things as well, because it makes me feel appreciated. Like, you go out your way to do something for me or to get something for me, and that's who I am as well. So because that's my love language, that's how I show love as well. I would try to give someone something or do something for them to make them feel appreciated. But even though that I might do that might not be their love language, which brings conflicts as well. But we'll talk about that a little later. What about you? What is your love language?
So my top love language is definitely acts of service, because, lessening my load is definitely the way to speak to my heart.
Yeah.
And growing up, I know for sure, like my mom, whatever it is she does for me, whether it's just making a simple meal, making my favorite food, like that was so special to me, because it showed me that she cared and that she, wanted to do something special for me. I also, my love language in a way kind of changes, because sometimes with time our needs shift. So like for me, I know in the past, I believe my top 2 were like acts of service and quality time. But now I think mine is acts of service and words of affirmation. And I think that developed later in life for me, because, and I think, so another reason, let me finish my thought. Another thing can happen with your love language is that sometimes it is shaped from what you did not get a lot of as a child. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, for me, I feel like words of affirmation is something I lacked, like, like great job, or like, you're doing such an amazing job, or like, kudos, I love yous and stuff like that weren't necessarily things I was told often. So I feel as I got older, I crave that. Even though words of affirmation, not words of affirmation, acts of service, which the saying, action speaks louder than words. Facts. I believe that, but I also believe that words matter as well.
Yes.
And as I got older, it made me realize that words of affirmation is also necessary. So like I want the acts of service as well as the words. So I feel like for me now, words of affirmation matters as well because I want to be told that I'm doing a great job, or to affirm me and to encourage me in a way that will help push me towards the best version of myself. So I think like for me, definitely the little things that like my mom and my other family members did for me growing up was impactful, and it definitely made me realize like people show you. I receive love when someone does something for me, but now I realize that I crave words because that was kind of like a lack in my life. So yeah, do you have like any love language that came about like from a lack of as a child?
Honestly, no. I just, for me, I just, what I'm used to, what I like. I'm that kind of person. If this works, it works. I barely change. Maybe I was more of receiving gifts more than acts of service, or I was acts of service more than receiving gifts, but it's kind of intermingled. But yeah, no, not really. But as you were saying, that yours changed to affirmation, and I could definitely see that, because especially in Caribbean communities, words is not our strong suit.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, acts speak louder words. Like I've heard that so many times. Like acts speak louder words, acts speak louder words. So we don't even say the words. You know, like a lot of us grow up of never hearing "I love you."
Yeah.
Like, and I know a lot of Caribbean Americans would say, "No, I say love you when I got off the phone or whatever." But a lot of times we pick that up when we moved here.
Facts.
Right? When you in Guyana, when you in the Caribbean, sorry.
When you're in the Caribbean,
wherever you're from, people don't be like, "I love you," going around saying "I love you" and stuff like that.
Seldomly.
So I could understand why you would crave that, because for me, I think words is lies. You
were told words is lies.
Yeah, when you're growing up and you're a girl, you're now dating or whatever, your mother say you don't like swell up your head. I don't know if you guys know what that means around the Caribbean. That means that he telling you sweet words, making your head
sweet big.
Exactly. So you don't even believe what he said, but we come with. Right? We come with what he do for you, what he's done, and women, same thing, right? Men, same thing. So for me, I've never craved words of affirmation, but that's definitely the first one we want to talk about. So we want to go through the list of the kind of love language, and I want you guys to see what you identify with. So let's talk about the first one. Words of affirmation. So this basically means that you show love or want to receive love by using words. And this means, a compliment, something meaningful, giving praise, or, just saying something nice about that person. And that's what Kian was talking about, is that she didn't really have that. So now that's something that she likes in terms of
romantic.
Yeah, in a romantic setting. And I think that, especially once again in the Caribbean society, we definitely seldomly like to do. Like for me, that's something that's super, super hard for me personally. My husband is words of affirmation, and I struggled a lot because I'm like, I cook, I clean, I do everything. I buy you a gift or whatever.
That's how she got this ring.
And I did all the things, and it was like, but how do you love me? I was like, of course, based on all these actions, but that's how I want to feel loved. Right? And so giving a compliment to him, like, you know what, honey, you work hard. I appreciate all the things that you do. I appreciate what you do. Saying I love you on a regular basis is something that is super important to him. And for me, it meant like, oh, but it's lies. Like, anybody could lie to you. So you got to see it by doing action. And he was like, absolutely not. No. How would you know that someone loves you unless they don't say it. And I was like, what? By the action. So we used to butt head with that all the time until I read this book. And I was like, oh, this is so important. Like for me, I don't care. Like I know you love me by the things that you do, but for other people, they want you to express that by the words that you say to them. And Absolutely. It's very important for you to do that. So you want to take a minute and recognize, oh yeah, I feel my partner should tell me this more, or I should do this more. And
or even ask yourself, when was the last time you told your partner, I love you, or I appreciate you, with words?
With words, yeah. And you know, once again, as a Caribbean community, like even though I'm so not used to it, and when my Caribbean family comes around and I'm like saying nice things to my family, they look at me like, what going on? Like, you gotta do all of them. I'm like, yes, that's how that's how I want to show love. That's what appreciate, you know. And for us, it might be foreign to you. That makes sense, but you can start small. Start with a text at least, you know, like I love you with a text, you know, say a good thing if they did. And trust me, guys, you read this book, it'd be the simplest thing. They pay the bills, all the bills paid this month. Thank that man, thank that woman, right? They came home, right? They came home and they need that support. How was your day, right?
Cook some food every day, you know, whoever is doing the cooking in the relationship. Say thank you, or the food tastes good. Like compliment the chef.
Exactly. Say that the food tastes good. You're so right with that, because a lot of times, like even with my husband, as soon as he come home, the food ready, and he would like that. But the food being ready is nothing compared to, honey, how was your day? And we think, oh, well, I put all this effort into this food, and you know, all these things, and you thinking that that's what that man needs, that what that woman needs. But they really need a kind word. They just need a kind word to show that support. And that's basically what words of affirmation. So what's the next one?
So let's jump right into quality time. And, you know, quality time is basically you're doing stuff together meaningfully and intentionally. Like you're spending this time together to engage in, you know, a non-physical form of intimacy. And you can be going on dates. It can be eating together, having dinner together every night, and asking, like you're talking about, you know, incorporate words of affirmation. Honey, how was your day? You know, you talk about if you have kids, you talk about the kids and what's going on. You spend intentional time together. Put down the phones, you know, get to spend time with each other, get to talking. And you can take long walks. You know, walks are great for the health. Plus, you know, it's a way to do something together where you connect with each other, as well as, you know, if you're religious, you go to church and just enjoy a nice relaxing day. It can be at the beach, it can be at a park, it can be whatever. It's just take time to spend intentional time with each other, and, you know, go dancing. When's the last time you went to a bashment party? And, you know, just have fun together. Like, these are things that you need to be intentional about doing in order to enrich your relationship and to ensure that whatever it is, you know, that your partner feels seen, they feel heard, they feel valued.
Yeah. And, you know, as, you know, Kiana mentioned too, like, a lot of people be like, oh, but I get children. And so, like, they're like, you know, how am I going to spend quality time? Like, one day at night, a month is nothing, right? You know, somebody could spend time with the children one day, or you know what? If you skip work the one day, you know what? The children at school, but you skip work the one day, y'all stay home together, watch a nice movie. Like, it ain't got to be going out to do and doing something. It's just spending that time together. It's very important. Just even like you scrolling on your phone. Some people like that, just both of you scrolling on your phone in the same capacity, same place or whatever. You know, as soon as somebody come home, you gonna do your thing, she gonna do her thing. Like, that's not it. But some people crave that time together, doing basically anything, reading together, just spending that time together is important to people. So look and see, like, you know what, as soon as he come home, he gone out to the buys, or, you know, shout on the phone with your friends. When you hearing that kind of thing, don't know this quality time is what that person is seeking from you. So give that person attention. That's kind of say, put the phone down. Give them that eye
contact. Or if you're watching this video, y'all can watch it together.
Facts.
So yeah, y'all can come together, put on the TV or whatever, stream it anywhere. We'll welcome the viewership.
Exactly. This could be the next language, which is receiving gifts. As I mentioned, that is my favorite love language. And basically, those persons who love receiving gifts, they really like something that's thoughtful. You know, like when you're reading the book, you know, some people are very judgmental with the gift giving. People who like, oh,
she a gold digger.
Yeah, people be like, oh, she like gold, she's a gold digger, she just like money. No. We're not doing that here, right? The people like me and I like are coming from me, you understand? I like receiving gift because they're thoughtful. It could be a tiny thing. You understand? Once it's something that is thoughtful, that you think of me, oh, look at this. This is look like Shaka, whatever. If you go into the grocery store, you know, and you know your wife like mint. You know, she like little sweetie, little Chico bubble gum, right? And you could you could just buy it for her and be like, you know, she like choose a thing, or she like to not something, just something.
But she also like nice things too.
She like nice things too. But most importantly, something that reminds you of her, and that's the most important part with receiving gifts.
Let me talk about men too, because a lot of times women believe that men, you know, you shouldn't buy anything for a man. Like,
yes, if he likes gifts,
if he likes gifts, like, you know, men deserve to be treated well, you know, and to spend some money on him.
Exactly. Yes, thank you, because you know, I guess the example was a lot for females, but yeah, women, if you know your husband, your boyfriend, your partner, whoever likes gifts, you gotta go out there. And no, men might be a little more expensive to shop for, but trust me, if you like receiving gifts, that thought counts big time. Even if, let's say, you don't get all the money, either parties and get all the money, and you know that you're looking at this nice shoes, she looking at this nice shoes or this nice bag, say, honey, I ain't get all, but here's half. That goes a long way. That goes a long way, because that means that you're coming and you have, and you know, sometimes people be like, oh, well, I give you money. The money,
it's good.
It's good. But I'm not a believer.
But it's not thoughtful.
It's not thoughtful. But you know, a lot of people be like, well, I like the money. I don't know. Maybe you like the money, yes, because you know you want money, but that might not be your main love language. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. Receiving gifts, but thoughtful gifts.
Yes.
Right? You don't have to be extravagant. It could be simple.
Absolutely. And also, we want to talk about acts of service once again, and these includes the actions, you know, the help, you know, like when you help your loved ones, like cleaning, doing a little yard work, cooking. As simple as those chores are monotonous, like everyday things that we do, it is still things that need to be done. And you know, people whose love language is acts of service, they value those things. They value people when their partner, you know, does something that helps take lessen the load. Let's say, for example, the wife, or you know, usually does the laundry, and this morning you woke up, wifey's tired. Wifey said, you know, she's not feeling well. You do the laundry today, and guess what? If acts of service is her love language, she would feel so amazing. She would feel loved. She would feel valued, because you lessen the load. And acts of service is basically lessening the load of your loved ones.
Yes.
Going to the grocery store. You want to go to the market this week, honey, because I got it. I'll do it. I'll look out, take care of the kids. You go spend some time by yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you know, those things count. And really and truly, you know, people that love acts of service value when their partner does something for them. It could be the most minute thing.
Simple things. Yeah.
Simple things, you know. Let me iron your clothes for work tomorrow. Simple things. It counts. It really makes you feel loved and valued.
Yeah, and you know what? And we don't want to like give too much of gender roles or whatever, because acts of service could be men, could be women, but a lot of women, they do tend to move towards acts of service.
Yeah.
You know, and you doing this one thing for them, it could really, really be a lot. You understand? Because now you only like, okay, well, you know, this she job or something like that. Absolutely not. right? It could be the simplest thing. You know, you waking up early, you're taking care of the kids, because you know what? Especially in Caribbean society, we're like, okay, women take care of the kids or whatever, and men babysitting. No. There's no such thing as fathers babysitting. It's your child. Y'all evenly taking care of the kids. So do that for your wife or whatever. Let her go out and do her nails. Or even women, look at the things that your husband might want in terms of active, because he has active service too. As she said, you know, you wake up, iron the clothes. Sometimes that's the thing that he wants, even if he might be doing the other the things that he wants, or making sure that something is
cooking
clean,
his favorite meal.
Cooking
he
his
had a hard
meal and
work week. He's doing yard work. Make him a nice, you know, picture of lemonade, swank or something. Take it out to him, you know, show him your appreciation for him doing the work. You know.
Exactly.
It's basically showing appreciation for each other in the way that they feel seen and heard. So whatever it is, that's why it's so important for you to know first and foremost what your love language is and what your partner's love language is.
Correct.
Because that will allow both of you to love each other in the way that you truly want to be loved.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to know what love language you have for yourself, because you got to know how to love yourself first before you tell somebody, or for you love somebody, or you can even tell somebody how to love you, because you don't know how to love yourself. So we implore everybody to go and figure out what their love language.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
So the last one that we're gonna touch on, that's the last love language, number 5, is physical touch. Right? So this includes any kind of physical contact. This includes hugging, kissing, touching, sexy time, right? So I know that a lot of people be like, oh, you know, this all men want that, you know, and then statistically, yes, a lot of men prefer physical touch, but it doesn't have to be just, you know, having that intimate, that sexual intimacy. It could be a hug. When he comes through the door, a hug. When she comes through, and women love physical touch as well, right? But sometimes not necessarily, you know, going all the way, but a hug, a caress, touch her hair, rub her shoulder,
holding hands,
like, you know, just touching somebody's shoulders when they're having a tough time. It could be so, you know, so important. That makes them feel supported, right? So we don't want to just look at, you know, physical contact, or like, you know, having sex or whatever, because a lot of people be like, yeah, this the one or whatever, and you know, and a lot of men might be like, well, shaka, these women, they don't want to have physical touch with me, and this what I want. But maybe because her love language is acts of service, and if you were supposed to go and do the laundry, she got them, that would definitely, you know, get her going. They could be like, oh, he did it for me, now I have time, I have energy, and now you get something in return. Because a lot of times people think, well, that's the way that I want to be loved, and that's the way she want to be loved, or he want to be loved, and that's the only way, and that's you're butting heads like that. So you need to learn what they like and what you like.
Absolutely.
And then we can go that way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Because you can show love and, you know, and receive love differently. So because let's say your love language, like she said, like is physical touch. And you can't always, not to say that you shouldn't be showing love in physical touch, but if your partner's love language is not physical touch at the top, you have to, it's a give and take.
Correct.
You know, you have to do for her what her love language is, and vice versa. She has to do for you what your love language is.
Exactly.
And sometimes we want to love people in the way that we want to be loved, and that doesn't always translate well to others. And not to say that, you know, don't do it. Like, you still have your needs. So we're not saying not to want to do physical touch with your partner because that's not their love language. No, we're not saying that at all. What we're saying is that if her love language is acts of service and yours is physical touch, incorporate both into the relationship so that both partners' needs are being met as equally and evenly as possible. We know there's never going to be a full equilibrium where things are fully balanced, fully 50-50.
Absolutely not. Impossible.
Never going to happen. But the thing is, you know, we just keep trying to do our best every day.
Yeah, exactly. Making that effort, right? Obviously, even with receiving gifts, obviously you can't give a gift every single day, right? But you can still try to make an effort, and that is basically what they're looking for, right? In Dr. Chapman book, it has a lot of couples, give example of a lot of different couples that were struggling on the brink of divorce and all these different things, and they implemented these love languages, and that fixed it, right? Because it's super important, because you can love, like you can buy tons of gifts for somebody, but if you don't want to give them a kind word, it will not matter. So you need to love people in their love language, right? And it's important to note that people can have more than one love language. It might not be equal, but like Kiana said, that it shares physical quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service. So you need to see which one it is. And even
also, truly, it's all of them for me. I want it all.
Some gonna be more than one.
Yeah, but some are more important than others. But ideally, I think having some level of all encompassing all of the love languages, for me personally, I think that's ideal for me. But obviously, some are way more important at the top of the list than others.
And that's why it's important to do the quiz that we have as well, because that's going to identify it. Because basically it gives you a scale, like it lists like which one is the top priority for you. So have your partner, you and your partner do the test. That could be one of your first quality time activity. Have you and your partner do the test and see. And sometimes you discover that you have the same love language, which is great. But I want you to know that even though you might have the same love language, you might require different things, right?
Absolutely.
For example, once again in Dr. Chapman's book, he talked about how both of them had acts of service, and she would cook and clean and do all those things, but he would still complain that, when she wakes up, she needs to tend to the kids first. That was super important to him. That was like the acts of service for him. And hers was like cooking and cleaning, and that's what he needed to do. So even though they both had acts of service, it was different kinds of acts of service. So really take the time to figure out what does that love language look like to that person.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's something that you definitely want to note. So what are some things you can ask to better understand what your love language is?
Yeah. So like for starters, for those that are, physical touch, right away you can ask them, and you can, tell if someone's physical touch. So you can ask them, like, do you like giving or receiving hugs and kisses? Because people who generally are your physical touch is at the top of their love language list tends to be more affectionate, physically affectionate, hugs, kisses, and stuff like that. They, crave that kind of affection. So asking your partner that is a great way to start, and to confirm. You may already know this, to confirm for sure, if you don't know already, if they are, most desired love language is physical touch.
Yeah. And what about if you like quality time? Like, do you like if they like to hang out or engage with other people, with you? Sometimes, your partner, as I mentioned, going out after work because they like hanging out and might spend quality time with their friends. Maybe that could be you. You understand? Or they like going out with their girlfriends, or even spending time on the phone. That could definitely be an indication whereby, you know what? How about I fit in and fill that gap? Because maybe they're doing it because they're not getting it from you.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's something you want to consider, identify as for quality time.
And even for guys, like with that, like, he's hanging out with his friend, and like, maybe the wife or girlfriend or whatever don't like going out, or definitely ask these questions so you know for sure if it's something that your partner desire, and that way you can basically join them in those activities, and
fill that gap, right? And do your best to fill the gap. Don't be like, I'm coming out, and then your face so it makes sense.
Yeah, or are you always on the road or something?
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And do you like, another question you can ask for gift giving is like, do you like giving or getting presents? Simple. Do you like getting gifts? Like, does me buying stuff for you super important to you? And some people will be like, yes, I like that. Some people would be like, I don't really care, to be honest.
If it's my birthday or if it's Christmas. Some people,
and you go with that answer and see whatever it is, and if they are like yes, then now you need to be more intentional about giving gifts, and not just giving gifts to give gifts, but like Shaka said earlier, it's the thought that counts.
Yes.
It's not just, let me just throw some money at you. No.
Exactly.
It's about considering the person, like what their likes and their dislikes, and, doing something that is thoughtful and that they would value.
Yeah, exactly. And how would you know about acts of service? What does the person like do? Like doing the work around the house, or the man doing stuff around the yard, or vice versa, right? Like that's how you would know someone is engaged in acts of service. I know some people have to do the housework because they ain't got choice, but I mean I want to do it, so they'll be like, oh yeah, me wife like clean, so she definitely whatever. Or my husband like doing the yard work or whatever. Yeah. I don't mean that's the case. I mean, we do it because we got to do it, but that's a good indication to figure out, if that person actually like doing it, or if it's something that I could fill in the gap and do for them, and show my appreciation.
Absolutely. Okay? And then obviously the last question you could ask for now, but definitely do the quiz that we're going to link in the description box below, and we're going to also leave it in the comments, that you can take with your partner so that you can know your love language as well as theirs. So another question you can ask for a word of affirmation is, do you like it when I say nice things about you? Do you like it when I say I love you? Do you like it when I compliment you? And for some people, they don't really care about that. Yeah. For some people, they absolutely do care about that. Like they love, words. Words is powerful. And once again, knowing if your partner like this or not will definitely help you in loving them in the way that they truly desire to be loved. So yeah, so we talked so much about words of affirmation. We're going to continue this conversation in other episodes because, like I said, in this episode, we talked about words of affirmation. Love languages when it comes to romantic relationships. But we're going to cover it when it comes to platonic relationships, such as with your family and friends. Yep. And most importantly, with yourself. How you show up for yourself, how you love yourself. Like, we're going to talk about that in upcoming episodes. Mm-hmm. But before we, close out this episode, we're introducing this new segment called Things Nice Bad. What I mean? So basically, it's where we talk about things that we're loving and enjoying. So in this episode, we want to talk about Patrice's song "Anxiety" in the spirit of Carnival.
Yes, it's Carnival season. A lot of countries get Carnival going on right now, and people bubbling down, having a good time. So
not us though, we're bubbling down.
Probably in America.
Yeah. So all the people in Carnival country, from Trinidad to Martinique to Dominican Republic, wherever else.
Haiti.
Yeah,
and Guyana, Mashramani.
Can't forget Guyana, Mashramani.
Right? So we wanna big up Patrice for singing this song, and it's anxiety. It's called Anxiety, which is definitely something that we talk about on the show or whatever, and they talk about soca being therapy, which soca is a therapy at the end of the day, right? And we encourage therapy, any kind of therapy, right? So
therapy. So let me play a little glimpse.
Let's song.
Yeah.
See, I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign, 'cause you know that I need it.
Thing Nice Bad.
Listen to this song.
Therapy. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for today. Thank you for tuning in to Liming and Healing in our second episode. We really appreciate everyone that watched today. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, give us a comment if you like the episode. If you have questions, definitely put it in in the comments.
Yes.
And we are going to definitely leave this quiz in our bio there, so you guys can check it out. Definitely figure out what your love language is. Trust me, guys, it's life changing.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you. And leave comments. Don't tell us directly you like the episode. Leave it in the comment section. It means the world to us, and it will help us with engagement. So leave all your questions in the comments. If you want to see something, you want us to talk about a specific topic, drop it in the comments below. Follow us on all platforms at Liming and Healing, and send us DM us if you want to access like something that's a little bit too private. DM us, and we will definitely answer you.
Yes.
But thank you so much for your support.
Yeah.
We're excited. We're loving this. And yeah.
We're loving you guys. We're loving alignment and healing. So remember, bust a line.
Bust alive, bust alive.
See you next time.